and make your move. You're better off without my face in your view. Bright flame, but now it's burned out. It's fate, say it out loud. So that I wanna head home now. You had me hanging from a tightrope. Cut the cord and watch me spiral. Go ahead and make your move. You're better off without my face in your view. So what's the point you came to? You shouldn't stay, though I'll be lost without you. Why won't you push me? I'm standing right on the edge. I'll make it easy. I said we have nothing left. No, you don't need me. Sorry, don't mean to offend. The sun is rising. This night has come to an end. You've got me walking on a tightrope. Seems like we'll be here for a while. You had me hanging from a tightrope. Cut the cord and watch me spiral. Go ahead and make your move. You're better off without my face in your view. So what's the point you came to? You shouldn't stay, though I'll be lost without you.
I am the master of my fate, the captain of my soul. My head is bloody, yet unbowed. Big up to Jimmy Five Shins for the super chat. It's quite dark in here, isn't it? Welcome, welcome, one and all. It's not looking good in terms of City getting through tonight, but you know what? That might be okay. That might be okay because I'm not necessarily expecting us to come back from today's Champions League tie. I think that the damage was done in that first half. But that doesn't mean that we have to go down without a fight. That doesn't mean that we can't present ourselves in a good way. That doesn't mean that we can't give our best shot. It doesn't mean that we can't build momentum for the League Cup final. Welcome to the Real Madrid preview. Remontada, says Jimmy. Thank you so much for your super chat, mate. Buzzing for the atmosphere today till they score. Your random movie quote is, "This is what we're reaching for, everybody. This is the dream. This is the goal. Perfect jar of pickle." That's from An American Pickle. I've never heard of that film ever. What we're going to do today, I think, is obviously the focus has to be on the Real Madrid game tonight, and there will be a watch-along of it. We're going to talk about what we think the lineup is going to be, what I want the lineup to be, and perhaps reflecting on what went wrong in that first leg. How can we try to rectify it in the second, and anything else that we may desire to chat about today. There will be a watch along tonight, Sarah. Absolutely. We will be live tonight, as always, for these Champions League games. Leave a like on the video. It's free. It helps support the channel. How are we all doing today? Hopefully my rousing bit of poetry got everyone up and at it. Yes. And that's the purpose of Invictus, which is the poem from which this title has been gleamed. Just because your head is bloody doesn't mean it has to be unbowed. Just because you're losing a fight doesn't mean that you can't go out in a flame of glory and nobility. Yes, that's what it means by that. It was a happier time when we did the stream last week, says Fenway. Smay needs to be benched, says Zum. Gonna be a tough week as a City fan. It was already a tough week last week, wasn't it? Basically, if we want to be really realistic, we're probably out of the Champions League, probably out of the Premier League all in the space of a few days. So it's not a good time. Front three, Docker Hull and Shirky asks Fenway, good afternoon to you, Natando. Sorry I was late. Yes, I don't really have an excuse for that. I was just running late. Apologies. Is this going to be one of those nights? Asks Dilshad. Could it be? Let's pray manifest the remontada, Shirky Foden, double tens. Yeah, I was just on a phone call to Baldy saying, hello, mate. And then after that call, after I spoke to LB, I put the phone down and I was on the blow to Pep Guardiola. Big up to you, Sarah. Hello, MK Ready. Yeah, hit the likes. Good afternoon to you, Austin. This is just a guy who says, I can't take this anymore. Hello, Yash. Yeah, there will be a watch-along. We know we can't come back, but if Shirky doesn't start, just walk away from the pitch as Enoch. No Semenyo Marmouche, our dearest bold fraud. Hello, Gamer, what's up? I'll check that in a second, Spartacus. Absolutely. It's Tuesday, Naveen. There's always one. Tuesdays and Fridays. That's how it works. Are you currently sick? I hope you feel better soon, Tino. Where are the sunglasses? You don't believe? We did draw to West Ham, John. That is objectively correct, unfortunately. Ramatard, I've heard about a million times since last week. Really motivating stuff. Yeah. Yeah, late Nobbins, sorry about that. If we qualify, it would be a good season. If it's impossible, says Alex. I'm a bit crazy. Front three of Nori, Hall, and Doku on the right with Shirky behind would be lethal. Nori is very creative. Detailed bet, no brain farts. Yeah, I'll just double check before the game starts. And we need Doku and Shirky for any chance of winning this tie. Yeah, so what were the main sort of talking points from last game? How did Real Madrid set up? We'll have a very brief overview of that. I did do a whole stream. On that. So if you missed it, then and you want my full thoughts on what the hell happened in that game, then feel free to go watch that stream. Absolutely. No. Before we do that, let's talk about practicalities first of all, because I feel like I'm a little bit of a realist sometimes. And if we're all being honest with ourselves, what is genuinely and honestly the best outcome that we can hope for tonight? In an optimistic universe, the best outcome is we win 4-0. Or we win 3-0 and win on penalties. Or we win 4-1 and win on penalties. I understand that's the optimistic reality. What's the reality, though? And I think that the best case scenario, which is also realistic, is that we win the game. And I do think we will win tonight, by the way. I do think we will win. But I also think Madrid are going to score. So I would probably... In fact, I think I predicted before the first leg, which I was so confident about, I predicted us to win 3-1 in the return leg. And I'm going to stick with that prediction. I'm going to stick with that. I think that we'll score a fair few goals tonight, in before that blows up in my face. But I just don't think it's going to be enough, because I do think that we are going to concede a goal, and I don't think that we're going to score 4 tonight, because I'm also considering the opponent and how they're going to play. They're 3-0 up, so I'd be very, very surprised if they did anything other than sit back and try to hit us on the counter-attack. If they don't and they go for it, then absolutely fair enough. It's not something that I would expect to happen, but I am going to predict us to win. And Musty said it there. I think a valiant effort. That's really all I'm after today. In my head, I've accepted that we are going to get knocked out tonight. But that isn't the same as saying that you down tools, you give up, and you throw it away and you only focus on Sunday. No. I need to see a good lineup. I need to see a front-footed and relatively brave lineup. And I want us to build some momentum towards Sunday's cup final, because the absolute worst thing we could do today is go, okay, the game's done, let's rest everyone and let's focus on Sunday. That's a very bad mentality that would be a very bad mentality for our players and our manager to have. We need them to treat tonight very seriously, even if we don't think it can be possible, even if there's a 0.5% chance. They still have to try. They still have to go for it. As I say, we need to have that positivity building into Sunday's game, because if we are going to be out in the Champions League and Premier League, then that means that we need to rely on the League Cup and the FA Cup to have a somewhat successful season. So we do need to build that momentum. I do think that's quite important. So the lineup, people saying like lineup I'd like to see, I'll get into that. Oh, please don't spam though, or you will get timed out. Basically, the lineup that I think that we should go for today, outside of the goalkeeper, is what we should be doing for Sunday, realistically. I think we should try to trial whatever we're trying to do on Sunday tonight. And ideally, both of those would be relatively attacking and front-footed. But I would be... I don't think satisfied is the right word, because I can't be satisfied with us going out. But again, if I'm being pragmatic, I can accept a valiant defeat in which we try our best and we ultimately win the game. And maybe we even get close. Maybe we even have them on the ropes for a time. Maybe it gets to 2-0, and who knows what happens thereafter. But I don't think we will ultimately do it. But I still want to see that level of effort and attacking thrust given tonight. Let's not go down with a whimper. Let's go down with a fight at least, and let's try to build that momentum, not only for the rest of the season, but I guess also for next season as well. If we do somehow beat Real Madrid, lovely, obviously, like by 3 or more, amazing. But yeah, if we do, we're probably going to get knocked out by Bayern in the next round anyway, because we just held 3 to one of the worst Real Madrid sides we've ever played, if not, no, the worst Real Madrid side we've ever played. We still held 3 to them. What are Bayern going to do to us? You know. So it's looking bleak either way, but hey, we can still go for it, and we can still try. So why didn't it work in the first leg, first of all? I'll try to go over that in brief, and then we will go through what we think will happen, and I'm going to present what I want to happen, and respectfully, I don't care if anyone gets upset. I know what I want, and it's not going to happen, but it's what I want to happen. So, and I'm allowed to say what I want to happen. So the key issues in the Real Madrid game were obviously that we conceded 3 goals in one half of football. We also imploded after 20 minutes. We weren't able to get a grip of the remainder of that first half. The only period of time we were able to get a grip in the game was when Real Madrid backed off in like the final 20 to 30 minutes, because they had a 3-goal advantage, and they knew that if they took that to the Etihad, they were going to have a very, very good time. So, and then obviously we had all of the ball. They didn't really have any true danger. And that was when we looked our best. But obviously that was because of what Real Madrid did. So what went wrong before then? Well, in the first instance, just individual errors for the first goal. O'Reilly, bad positioning. Donnarumma, bad sweeping. Donnarumma, bad decision-making, taking his arm away. Bad errors, and not really something that Pep should be blamed for. The remainder of the game, though, I can blame the lineup, because we just did not adapt to what Real Madrid were doing. Real Madrid essentially played with 2 false 9s. They dropped into the midfield. They did what Manchester United did to us, actually, at Old Trafford, where Bruno Fernandes was the one to drop deep. And again, Rodri was overrun in that midfield. Our diamond press got exposed, and we committed so many bodies forwards that it meant that, and Madrid committed so many bodies back, that when they were able to inevitably break through that press, they had numbers running forwards at us as well. So even if we had a 4v3 at the back, their 3 players were Vinicius Jr. and Valverde and Brahim Diaz. So it wasn't a good time. It wasn't a good time for City, and it wasn't a good time for Pep either because he didn't actually adapt anything. So that was very concerning to just leave Rodri isolated all on his own. You got to credit Arbeloa, but we should have done a hell of a lot better there. The attacking dynamics also just didn't work in the game. So we all know about the defensive dynamics. I spoke about them for like 90 minutes. I don't need to spend another 90 minutes talking about them. Although I could, I won't. The other fact of the matter is that we weren't able to score a goal over 90 minutes. Outside of the first 20 minutes, we didn't look too threatening. Our attacks were very one-dimensional as well. It was literally just get the ball to Doku and see what he does, and put all your eggs in the Doku basket. Did I say Donnarumma the first time? Get the ball to Donnarumma, did I say? Get the ball to Doku and see what he does, and see if he can create some magic. And I felt that he did well. I thought he was our best player. He was always trying stuff. Did it always work out? No. But I think that if our players in the box had made better runs, then they could have made something more of it. But outside of that, our team had nothing. The left side was the only threatening thing for us. The right side was non-existent because Savio needs some support in order to function on that right side, and Kusanov isn't going to offer it. And Semenyo didn't have a very good game in that central role. Bernardo was also largely ineffective as one of the offensive players, as was O'Reilly, who had probably the worst game he's ever had for us, both in possession and out. So there were a number of problems going against us in that game, and also credit to Real Madrid. They were fantastic. Valverde's defending was very good. Mendy was very good in the first half, and Courtois, in like the couple of instances where he was called upon, he illustrated why he is the goalkeeper to make the difference in the big nights in the Champions League. So fair play to all of Real Madrid as well, and fair play to Arbeloa. So what should the approach be? First of all, like, what should the approach be from City tonight? What do we think could be the approach from City tonight? I think that what should happen is we have to play relatively ambitious, because we have to score 3 goals. But it's at the same time, it's also important to not... It sounds like a stupid thing to say because we're 3 goals down. But we can't just play, like 10 attacking players. We can't just it's not the last minute of the game and you need a goal. We can't be going all guns a-blazing from minute 1. There has to be some sort of semblance of measure in the first instance, because if you go full pelt in like the first few minutes and then you concede a goal, then the game's already over before it's over. So yeah, we can't overdo it exactly, Austin. So there has to be an understanding, and there still has to be a balance in the side. It can't just be, yeah, let's play all of Shirky, Foden, Reinders, Doku, Haaland, Marmoush, and just like go for it. We can't yet do that yet. If you're 2-0 up in the 80th minute, then yeah, sure, go for it. But we still have to have a measure of balance in the game. But there are some non-negotiables for me, which I think will happen, and I also think should happen. I do think the Shirky has to start, and I think that Doku also has to start as well. They are objectively 2 of the most, if not the most, creative players in the Premier League this season. Doku certainly is always up there in respect of the expected threats numbers. Shirky is a passing creative force, so they do both have to start. It's not enough to only have one side. So we had like three key areas. There are 3 key areas you can be threatening from, really, aren't there? There's the left, there's the centre, there's the right. So it's oversimplification, but you know what I mean. We can't only be threatening on the left in Doku. So we do need that, but we need more. We also need to be threatening on the right. We also need to be threatening centrally also. The title is from a poem called Invictus. I am the master of my fate, the captain of my destiny, I think is the final lines. Captain of my soul, something like that. I can't remember exactly. I was thinking of you. I've already done Into the Jaws of Death, Road to 500. And I did that for... I've done it twice, actually. I did it in the 23-24 season after the 0-0, and then I did it in the second leg of Real Madrid funnily enough. So it always seems to be these big games where it happens. Yeah, I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. That is Invictus by I've forgotten his name. Henley. Yeah, what was I saying? We can't just be a threat from one flank. We have to be a threat from every single flank. So I need threats on the left, in the center, and off the right-hand side. Definitely needs Doku on that left side or left inside area. You definitely need Shirky for that either that right side or right inside area, or just inside outright. And that's a bare minimum for me, an absolute bare minimum. I think you have to build tonight's game around those two players, in my opinion. If I don't see them both start tonight, I'll be very confused, because Shirky did not start against West Ham. So that tells me that surely he's going to start tonight. And I didn't think he would start against West Ham, by the way. I didn't think Pep would go that far the other way, but my logic was he's not going to start against West Ham because he will start against Madrid. Pep has since then admitted that he made the mistake in playing all of Semenyo, Marmish, Hall, and all at once against a side like West Ham. So that's nice to see him accept that was an error. Even though I do also contend that with the chances we had, we should have done a lot better. But still, tonight can't be the game where we play all of those players. We do need, as I say, in my opinion, Doku and Shirky. If it were an informed Foden, I would go for him, but I can't justify going for him. So any other version of Foden, yeah, but the fact that he's not... In fact, I'm not even going to say out of form, because I actually felt they played quite well in recent games, but he's not in the starting 11 right now. So I don't think you should do that realistically for tonight's game, even though I think that in an ideal world he would start, but I'm not going to suggest that I'm not going to, even in the team that I want, which I know will never happen, I'm not actually going to opt for Phil to start because he's not in the starting 11. So I don't think it's reasonable to pop him into even my preferred starting 11. What else needs to happen? Nunes must play. I'll get to my lineup. I'll get to my tactical board in a second. Nunes has to play, because we can't have we cannot have another game of Kusanov offering nothing out at right back. That can't happen when you are 3 goals down. Or was he, Rick? I thought he was being honest. Well, that's a shame if he was being sarcastic. I thought he was actually owning up to an error there. That's a shame. But bicycle, that's funny. Yeah, Nunes has to start. We can't have another game of nothing happening from that right side of defence, offensively speaking. That can't happen. He wasn't even that good at defending Vinicius Jr., if we're being honest with ourselves. He was not good for their third goal, and he got caught out a fair few other times as well. This is not his fault, but it's not something that he is. So we do need Nunes for that. And in an ideal world, what we would do is we would pin Real Madrid in for the vast majority of the game. Because even if Vinicius is... They're going to have at least 2 players like on the last man, ready for a counter-attack, obviously. But they surely can't commit more than 1 player to that if we are committing so many bodies forward and we're pinning them in, which is what we normally do. So you still obviously need like some players in and around Vinicius Jr. But if Vinicius isn't contributing to the out of possession at all, then it means that we've got 9 players absolutely pinned in, which is a very good time. Yes, Spartacus, exactly. Yeah. He literally falls over, doesn't he? I think it's for the third one where that happens. Anything else to cover before we get into lineups of what we think will happen and what I personally want to happen, even though I know it won't happen? Anything else to talk about, guys? Any questions? Any thoughts from you? Any words of wisdom that you guys are saying? Let me know, and then we'll move on to the tactics board. Need a 4-2-4 today with Ant-Man, Holland strikers. Doku Shirky on the wing, says Slime. We should attack and play very front-footed in the first 20. Try and get a goal, put pressure on, but make sure we have more than just Rodri in the midfield. Yes, you can't leave him isolated. Hello to you, Liam. Set pieces to be important. Well, we had so many of those against West Ham, and it's a shame because some of them were threatening, but they didn't end up going in the back of the net. Unfortunately. When my Nico G today says, Nintendo, have you seen the propaganda the club is putting out? Hey, you got to believe, you know. Got to believe. Large Slam thinks you need Ant-Man. Fortune Platoon needs to go, says Andy. Feels like a Stonesy game, says Wheezy. Do I have a favourite Lego set? Probably my Millennium Falcon or my Jabba Sail Barge. I also love my Turbo Tank. Ransdorf Foden need to start, says Mile. We won't see that. We won't see that. Don't worry. Don't worry. Not watching the game tonight. Fair enough, Quinn. Quinston says, could we please have a Trafford start? Not happening. It's nice for him to admit it, but we all knew. We all knew that was the case by his reaction and the fact that he was looking over for the cross. He just slipped. Yeah, it's a shame. And there were a couple of other instances where he got burned a little bit. Give me a morale-boosting performance to get us up for Sunday. That's what I'm after, Cosmic, personally. That's what I'm after. Of course, if we can win the game by enough goals, then amazing. But that's not... I'm not demanding that because I am realistic at the end of the day. I don't think that we're going to put 4 past them without reply. Or 3 past them without reply. Nico G and Rodri double pivot. What percent would you put for the chances of a comeback? It's never 0, is it? I'd say 5. 5%. I think that's pretty realistic. 5%. Marmish to start, says Taron. How about we play 5 at the back and hit them in transition? Shut up. Shut up. That's what I'd like to see, Peter. That's what I'd like to see, in all honesty. 10% says, yeah, Yash. 5 to 10. I think around that realm. Wise Opta say we have 13.4%. I believe that the way Opta works is... I don't know this, so someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that the way Opta works is that they run a load... So I think, for example, they would run 100 simulations of the game. And in 13 of those 100 simulations... we got more than 3 goals, or we won 3-0. We went through on penalties, and in the other simulations we didn't. I think that's how Opta's prediction thing works. It's not. I don't think it's like based on. Well, I don't really know what it's based on outside of the simulations. I don't know what the simulations are based on, but I think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure. So I guess it's like Doctor Strange, isn't it? Where in Avengers Endgame, where he ran all those things like, how many did we win? 1. So I think that's right anyway. I think that's correct. I think that's correct. Again, I would personally like that, Fenway. I'd personally like that. Pure vibes, yeah, Fez. Yeah, exactly, Nintendo. Yeah, sorry, it was Infinity War, not Endgame. Yeah. Oh, we watched Captain America 2 the other day. If you guys don't know this, I'll get to Tactics Board now. If you guys know this, Captain America is my favourite superhero. It's not even close. He's so clear of all the other Avengers as well. I'm the biggest Captain America stan. He's just so good. He just represents everything that's brilliant. Oh, he's so pure and good and brilliant. It's a big up to Captain America. I love that man. Love that guy. It's a shame that the actual, running of the actual country itself couldn't be more like that, but whatever. Whoa, Captain America 2 is a great film. Chill. That's a great film. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. There will be no Captain America slander here. Chill. Chill. Not bloody Pulisic. What's going on? Bloke with a shield. Yeah, exactly. And the reason why he's fighting these fucking gods, yeah? And And the only reason he's the person he is now is because he was pure of heart. Yeah? So big up. Right, this was the team that I think we played recently against West Ham, so this isn't what I'm going to predict or what we're going to go for. Yeah, great film. Naveen, that's an L take from Yo. He's so real. That's crazy. Big up to Captain America. He's such a boy. Right, yeah, so this was the team. So, first of all, this isn't my lineup. This is what we did against West Ham. I haven't changed it yet, guys. That lineup will never work. I haven't put it in yet. This is literally the team we did recently. Shush. Yeah? Give me a second. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to do what I think we will do. And then I'm going to do what, like, I would personally like to see. Yeah, exactly. He uses a shield because it's all about... You shouldn't have to, like, fucking kill people if you don't have to. That's the point of it, yeah? He doesn't like to kill people. That's the point of it. It's what the shield represents, guys. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Anyway. Avengers analysis video to come? Question mark? Spartacus, you're going to get banned if you're not careful. I swear down. Fenway. Why are you being some... Why am I getting bullied today? I don't like it. I've already got enough... high emotional situations going on with this bloody Real Madrid tie. I'm getting bullied. Picking on me. Right. So, what do I think will happen tonight? Let's be realistic in the first instance. Yes? What are we saying? Big nights in the Champions League. Donnarumma's going to be in goal, obviously. Nunes, of course, has to be at right back because we need to have some sort of actual width on that side. If he plays Kusanov at right back again, when we're 3-0 down, I actually don't know what to say. That's just so horrendous from him. So that should happen, and indeed it will happen. If that doesn't happen, then I properly do not know what we are doing. Unless it's something else which is mental, like, I don't know. I don't bloody know. Stones at right back and he does some sort of mad shit which ultimately works, then fair play. But, nah, it's got to be Nunes out at right back, hasn't it? Excuse me. I agree, Fenway. I actually agree. Right centre-back does seem to be the trickiest one. Yeah, yeah, let's just immediately get Gahey in the team because he's 100% starting. Where is he? There he is. Gahey's going to start at left centre-back. That's going to happen. Aït-Nouri is going to start at left back as well. I think. We did mention it on the analysis stream. The original plan was for Aït-Nouri to play at left back, but he picked up a knock in the Monday training. Yeah, Monday evening training. He picked up a knock, so he didn't start on against Real Madrid, and he also didn't start again. Oh no, he did start. Sorry, he only played 60 minutes though against West Ham, didn't he? So hopefully he's now able to do that. Strawberry cheesecake, shut up. That's interesting, Fenway. You don't think Gahey's a lock? Okay, that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Let's have a chat about it then. So here are, I mean, technically, Stones and Ake are options as well, but you know. Right. So we have 5 players. Oh, Gavardia, why aren't you fit, mate? We've got 5 players I'm in the no-Nobbins nowadays, Fenway. Come on, mate. Get with the times. Get with the times. I am in the no-Nobbins, yeah? We have 5 options here for 2 positions. As for right centre-back, you've got Diaz, you've got Kusanov, you've got Stones. For left centre-back, you've got Gahey, you've got Ake, and technically you've also got Kusanov, actually. So reasonably, I guess technically Diaz left centre-back, but given the context of all our other left centre-back options, it's not going to be that. So Diaz, Stones are your right centre-back options. Oh my gosh, I smashed my microphone. Kusanov is someone who has played a bit of both this season, so he's either a right centre-back and a left centre-back option. And then you've got Ake and Gehi, who are realistically going to be your two left centre-back options. What do we think will happen? This isn't what we want to happen in the first instance. We are going to do what we think will happen. I really do not think that Ake and Stones are even a consideration for Pep, because Stones has only been playing cup games since his injury. Let me just double check that point. Of course, you never know what's going to happen with Pep, but let me just fact check that. Yeah, let me do some R&D on this. Yeah, so he played the cup game against Newcastle and had a good game. Before that, he played the cup game against Salford. Before then, he played like 25 minutes in December against Fulham. So realistically, he's only being used in cup games, is Stones. So I'm going to rule that out as Stones starting. He's surely not starting. If he does, then again, fair play. Ake's in a similar position. The last game he played was the FA Cup. The game before that was Newcastle in the Cup. The game before that was in the Champions League against Galatasaray. Did he play left back that day? No, he didn't play centre back. Okay. So I'm also going to rule out Ake. I just, this is a cup. You're a good point. I meant more domestic cups. Shut up, guys. So I think that if we're being pragmatic here, if we were saying, right, you get like £1,000 for every single correct prediction you make for tonight, then the smart money isn't on Stones and Ake. It's on two of these three. I seriously cannot see a world where Diaz does not start tonight. In all honesty, I really do not think I can contemplate a world where Diaz doesn't start tonight. That is not the same as saying that's what I want to happen. It's not the same as saying that's what I think should happen. But if you say, Nobbins, you get £1,000 for every single correct call you make, Diaz is starting, I think. I'm pretty confident of that. Does anyone think that Diaz is not starting? Again, it's not what you want. Does anyone think that Diaz is not starting? Because I think he just is. Right? Again, it's not about what we want. It's not about what... And by the way, Diaz was our only good defender against Real Madrid. I want to throw that out there. Before I know people don't like Diaz, but before we get too crazy... Diaz was the only good defender. He was the only good player in that back four at the Bernabeu. So big up to Ruben for that. Nobbins is about to make $0. Bebek, thank you so much for following. That's a very good point, Triple Pivot. Yes, a very good point. He did not play against West Ham. Very good point. Why wouldn't he? Mangal the Stasic is an unreal call. Yeah, he didn't start against West Ham. Was that in anticipation of him starting tonight? Perhaps. I'm going to predict Diaz to start, personally. That's what I'm going to predict. The next call is, what do you do at left centre-back? Gehi did not play well at the Bernabeu. I don't know if that's because he was overwhelmed, but generally speaking, he struggled. He wasn't really tracking his man for that, or tracking the run, sorry, or anticipating the run for the third goal, and then Valverde did him a little bit as well. Kusanov also didn't have a good game, but he was played in the wrong position. I think that Pep is going to want to play Kusanov, because I think that what we will need is some sort of recovery pace at the back. I really think that Pep's surely not going to make the same mistake of playing him at right back. So I do actually think that I think I've actually changed my mind. So I think Fenway was right when I said Gahey's a lock. I think I've actually changed my mind. I don't actually know Fenway. Good point. I'm going to predict this as the back four. And that's a mad shout to predict Gahey to not play. But I tell you what, which is sort of half working with the logic, Gahey can't play on Sunday. Now, you can look at that one of two ways. You can say he can't play on Sunday, therefore he must play tonight. However, I might make the counter argument that I want this 11 to be as similar to the Sunday 11 as possible. In which case, I guess it does make sense if Pep does end up not starting Gahey. Interesting. Potentially interesting. So that's what I'm going to predict. Yes. Yes. I might be overthinking that, but I don't really see a world in which Diaz doesn't play. And I don't see a world in which Pep doesn't want Kusanov to play. And I don't see a world in which Nunes doesn't start at right back. I just think that there are too many certainties here. I might be $5,000 up here, guys. Yeah, I think that's where the smart money is. I don't think I can't predict Diaz to not start. I'll repeat, guys, if you're joining late, this ain't my team. This is what I think Pep will do. Spoilers. I wouldn't actually start Diaz tonight. Spoilers. This is what I predict, though. And I'm a Diaz fan. But I personally wouldn't actually... I don't see many worlds at all, yeah. I do not have the vision. I don't have the vision, yeah. The lights are too bright for me. So, this is the goalkeeper in the back four that I'm going to predict. We can get into like attacking shape and in possession in a second. I'm also going to predict Rodri to start. Now, I'm a little bit disappointed that Nico didn't start against West Ham. I felt that that would have made a lot of sense because I think that Rodri is going to start tonight. That's a lot of games to start all like consecutively. I feel like we're at 3 games in a week for a player who has just come, who has the season come back from injury. So it's a. I was confused to see him start, but that's a thing. I don't believe there is a world that Rodri... Sorry for using the world thing again. Rodri's surely going to start, though, because if we think about... Of course, Nico provides more off-ball work, but if we think that and consider that we're going to be up against a Real Madrid side that is mainly going to be defending, what do you need from your midfield then? You need preferably you need a defensive midfielder who's going to be able to hit those switches and is going to be able to play those line-breaking passes. If you're 3-0 down, what matters more is a better in-possession defensive midfielder than out of possession, I think. So even though I've been a big fan of Nico this season, because of the position we played ourselves into, not only do I predict Rodri to start, I also think that he should be starting based on that. So that is going to be my prediction for the defensive midfielder. The rest of the midfield, I'm going to predict, get your thoughts in, guys, as well, because these are our midfield options. Now that we have Nori at left back, O'Reilly can come back into midfield. And let's say more so players who, rather than like the attacking midfield players, let's focus more so on like the more defensive-minded midfielders, maybe. So I'm not going to consider Foden or Reinders for these areas. I think Lewis is actually still injured. I guess Kovacic also goes into this area as well. I think that's also a thing. Not missing anyone, am I? No, I don't think so. So realistically, these are the other two. So we need to pick 2 players from these midfield 4. Probably. Probably. Now, perhaps not in fairness. I had to choose a formation too. You're not wrong, actually. I'm going to assume that we're gonna play our standard diamond press. So I'm going to try to base it around that. Bernardo is starting because he's Bernardo. He's actually been quite good for us this season. I know that there has to be a focus on attacking play, but also you still need that balance there. Bernardo will play. That's non-negotiable. If he doesn't play, then I actually... Pep's confused me. That's another grand. That's another £1,000 in the bank. Yeah? That's what I think. He's playing like 10 minutes today. Yeah, Kova, surely the first game back is not going to be Kovacic starting at Real Madrid. That would be crazy. Pep, for whatever reason, does not want to play Rodri and Nico at the same time. I don't believe it's correct to look at it this way, but he seems to be looking at it as I can only play one of Rodri or Nico at the same time. I don't accept it has to be like that. I do accept that the game for experimenting probably isn't when you're 3-0 down in the Champions League round of 16. So I'm not going to predict Nico to start either. I'm going to predict him to play the midfield three that he wanted to play at the Bernabeu, which was Rodri, O'Reilly, Bernardo. That was his typical that was his three-man midfield that he wanted for. Technically four with the diamond, but you know what I mean. This is what he wanted to do in the first leg. I'm therefore going to predict him to do that in this leg. Pep, can you please piss off me? I haven't even got a light on today, you little bastard. I'm going to predict Bernardo to be at the tip of the diamond. I'm going to predict O'Reilly to be on the left side of the diamond. It probably would be perfect to experiment right now, Peter. It probably would be. But do I predict Pep to do that? No, I don't. I would instead predict this. And that makes a lot of sense because this has been the foundation of like some of our decent performances recently. Zero creativity. Well, Rodri's creative and O'Reilly's creative, so that is definitely not true. The next thing that I'm going to predict... I've realised I may have predicted myself into a corner here. I do... Well, Haaland's starting. Let's just get Haaland in the team. He's starting. Should I tell you what I'm thinking? The more I think about it, the more uncertain I am that both Shirky and Doku are going to start tonight. Even though I opened this stream by saying I think they will, I actually don't know if I think they will. Because here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I have to operate under the assumption that we're going to be playing our Diamonds Press, because that's how we have been playing recently. So I've got to assume that in the first instance. Here is the problem. Here is the problem with what I've predicted so far. So I think that all of these players are bankers, essentially. Well, maybe not Diaz Kusanov, but I do think that Rodri, O'Reilly, Bernardo, Haaland are basically 100% going to start. I'm very, 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 very convinced of that. Here is where the problem arises. Because if I think that both Shirky and Doku are going to play, right? The question becomes, where does Doku go? There is only one place he can realistically go. You'd have to play Shirky on the right side of the diamond out of possession, and you would have to play Doku as one of the two strikers leading the press. Now, here's the problem with that. Doku has not done that once this season, or indeed in his entire career. Perhaps that doesn't matter, because perhaps this is the game for experimenting. And maybe you go, well, let's just see what happens. But the fact that he's never done it before makes me not want to predict it to happen. Because he's never done it before. Doku's only ever really played here. Out of possession. Really, it's like the left side of the diamond. I don't think he's ever led it. And I'm not going to predict a change in shape. Because I can't. I've got to base my prediction on precedent. What's frustrating is that if I were confident in Foden starting, and if Foden were in the starting 11 recently, then you could just do that, and that's not a problem. But I really don't think Foden's going to start. So now I don't know. Has O'Reilly ever led the press before? No, he hasn't, has he? I don't think that I'm going to predict that, though. Does that mean I'm not going to predict Shirky to start? Oh my god. I'm overthinking it. Okay, well there you go. I'm going to predict that then. There you go. Sorted. That's the team then. What are you guys saying? For this predicted 11. If you saw this tonight, if you saw this, you know, at like 6:45 or whenever the lineups get announced, what would you make of this team? Because I think that we might do this. Losing. That's the point, Jam. But you see, I also, yeah, I really want to predict. No, you know what? I really want to predict Semenyo to start. I really want to predict Semenyo to start. In which case, it would be that. But Doku can't not start. Maybe. No, that doesn't work. I don't know what I want now. No, I don't know what I think, sorry, not what I want. I think Semenyo might be starting. No, but he started against West Ham, didn't he? Nah, he won't start. Right. You know what? Fine. I'll predict Semenyo to not start. Something tells me that that's not the correct call, but that's what I'm going to go for. So how would this work in possession? You'd probably have Shirky, Bernardo swapping. I'd probably want Nori pushing up. You might have a back three. Oh my god, I'm just realizing what I'm predicting. I'm going to predict Bernardo off the right. Oh my fucking god. Oh. Is that what I'm going to predict? I think I'm going to predict this. Something like that. I don't like that. That can't be right. I don't like that. I don't like it, therefore it can't be right. Alright. Well, this ain't gonna happen, is it? Because Diaz is gonna get fucking shanked. Oh, God, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. No, Nobbins. Ah. I don't know, man. What the hell, Spartacus? That's not very nice. I'm trying to predict what we will do. Okay, what attacking... Right, with these players, what attacking... Because I think that most of us want these attacking players on the pitch, right? So, what shape would you guys go for in possession? What do you guys do? Because I think you guys said that you liked those players. So what would you guys do? And I feel like it has to be a setup that we've used this season. Otherwise, I don't know if it's realistic. Three two says Fireborn. Pet player 316. Smenu over O'Reilly 325. 4-3-3 tucked wingers like earlier this season. That was a 2-3-5 though, wasn't it? Isn't that what you're referring to? We've used a 4-2-3-1. Have we? The only in possession back four shape we've used is a 4-2-2. Set up against Leeds. Home or away, mate? Which one? 226 my heart. 4-2-3-1. Which games... Can you guys tell me which games we're referring to when we say 4-2-3-1? Because I'm confused. Can you please assist me? Free roll for everyone, says Sam. Love that. Leeds at home. Was that what? That's where we played 4-2-3-1. That was a game that pissed me off, if memory serves. In the second half, anyway. Let's have a little look. Let me see what the lineup was that day. I tried to remember what we did. It's the 3-2, yes. Right. Yeah, I think against Leeds, we played Foden right wing, but we had Nunes being the width holder. I think... Was this not just a 2-3-5? Or did Nunes play as a right centre-back? No, Foden definitely started in the middle. I think the Leeds home game is just 2-3-5. Isn't it? That wasn't a 4-2-3-1. That was a 2-3-5. That Leeds at home was this. Unless I'm wrong. I don't think Nunes played as a right centre-back that day. I don't think he did. IDK, I need to go watch my analysis video again. I know he's doing a pep. Yeah, Foden played as a false winger on the right side. So Foden played where Shirky would have been. I'm pretty sure. Now that was away. I was asked at home. Yeah. I don't know what game you guys are referring to with the 4-2-3-1 because I don't think we've played like that all season. Right, so I don't actually, I don't know. In conclusion, I've confused myself, actually. I don't really know. I think he's got to play Doku and Shirky. It's just about how does he... It's just about how does he find the, in his words, the balance of doing it. I think the way to do it out of possession would be to trial Doku leading the press, which is something he's never done before. I don't really think you probably don't want Hall and Shirky leading a press, realistically. If you did, then you could just do that. Which I guess also like technically works. Check the DMs. Okay, right. It's Spartacus. If you give me a teammate. Okay, this is from Spartacus. I'd start Stones, make a back two with Nunes and Diaz. Stones jumps to the midfield to support Rodri in possession. Silva jumps up to support the winger. Aitnori over and underlaps. Isolate Docker with Valverde or Trent, one of Savio or Semenyo with the opposite winger, and go man for man in the forward line. I just don't think I can predict that, though. Spartacus. I don't think Stones is starting. Surely not. Surely he's not starting. I don't dislike it. I just don't think it's something I'd predict, that's all. But to be fair, you had to say I would start, in fairness. You haven't said, I think Pep will do this. You've said, this is what you want to do. So I respect that. I do respect that. Right. If I'm being uber realistic, then maybe actually it's actually going to be that. But I think that Pep will try to start Shirky in somewhere. Guys, is anyone interested in seeing the piece of shit team that I would play? I don't want people to get angry at me. This is my team. If you want to see it anyway, I don't have to show it. Respect Spartacus. Respect Spartacus. Yeah, he's my boy. He's my boy. You know what? Fair's Peter. Right, that's the end of the stream, guys. Thank you. Okay. Right. Don't shout at me, guys. Don't shout at me. I can already feel my anger. And whilst I'm doing this, you tell me, what are like the key facets of your team? Like, you know, if there's like one player who has to start, who is it? If there's one shape you have to, that you want to see, what would it be? Let me know. Why does Spartacus get to DM me? Because he is, oh, what a great plug this is. Because he's a member of the channel. Yeah, he's a member of the channel. And one of the perks you get as a channel member is DM perks. Yeah, I am obliged to reply to you if you are a member of the channel. So if you'd like to support the channel, get exclusive videos, and get to DM your boy, then you can join the channel there. That is why. It's a big up to Spartacus. And he's also just a smart boy as well. But that's his legal right. That's his legal right. Yeah? Okay, so something like this, or maybe Semenyo instead of Shirky or Doku, is what I would probably predict us to do. So, what do I want us to do? Ha 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 ha. Okay, let's clear the board, shall we? Let's clear the board. This game is all about attack, 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 attack. But it's also about having some balance. So I'm going to start with the attack. Yeah? Yanka, you're a member. You can DM me. Of course you can. So, Haaland is going to start. He just is. I know that he's been a little bit frustrating recently, but you can't convince me that City are a side more likely to score goals without Haaland in it than with him in it. Yanka, you can do what you want, mate. Don't you worry. So I'm going to predict Haaland to start. No, this isn't a prediction. This is what I fucking want, yeah? I am bald. Yeah? I am bald. I'm already angry. I am bald. I get to decide. This is my team. Yeah? My team. I'm going to start with the in possession. Because this game's going to be decided by what we do on the ball. I've decided. I need Shirky to start. And I need Doku to start. Obviously. Obviously, I need them to start. Yes? I need it. That has to happen. For me. For me. I need my passing creativity in Shirky. I need my Jeremy Doku ball carrying and tormenting of Trent as well. I need threats on the left. I need threats on the right. I need threats in the middle. I always go back to these games, but this was the offensive triad that we did when we played, in my opinion, the best football this season. Okay? I want these players, I need to stop saying I predict. I want these players to all start. Okay. Nobbins, where's width coming from? Well, unfortunately, I don't think the squad's been built in such a way where it's ideal to generate width from the wide players. So yes, I am going old school, and we are going back to 2-3-5 settings when we played, in my opinion, our best football, and I'm punting for Nunes, and I'm punting for Ait-Nouri as my wide players. I'm not having fucking Kusanov holding the width on the right-hand side. It's not happening. Not happening. Yeah? I want Juve settings. I want Juve settings with Doku and Ait-Nouri. I need these two lads to be rotating and interchanging and overlapping and underlapping with one another. Slime. These two players are key in that sense. I need Nunes. I need him for the width, the natural width to be created to stretch the opponent, for good crossing work as well. And I need it for Ait-Nouri's technical assurity. He can rotate with Doku wherever appropriate, so Doku can still attack Trent 1v1, but he can also attack the right centre-back. Why are you angry, guys? Don't shout at me! This is my attacking five, okay? There is no Semenyo, there is no Marmoush, unfortunately. And that hurts, because Marmoush is my favourite player. And it hurts because I think that Semenyo has been fantastic, especially out of possession. But I don't care. I'm going back to the settings which were working earlier in the season. The only difference is I've got Ait-Nouri in instead of O'Reilly. But Ait-Nouri can do the job that O'Reilly was doing. I saw him do it against Juventus. I've seen him do it this season. He can do it. So my two number 10s are Shirky and Doku. Yeah? That's happening. This is my front five. In defensive midfield, I am starting Rodri. Now, I'm going to counter myself a little bit here, because in those games, Nico was the defensive midfielder. In my three favourite games this season, Nico has been the defensive midfielder. However, game state is a thing, guys. And what I need in this game is my defensive midfielder to break lines and hit switches. And unfortunately, whilst Nico will offer a lot of defensive solidity and fantastic off-ball work, he's not going to offer the in-possession work that I need. Exactly, Fenway. Exactly. Exactly. It's basically going to be the same. So Rodri is in defensive midfield for that very reason. No Nico, so that's a key shift. So far, I have changed Aït-Nouri instead of O'Reilly and Rodri instead of Nico. But outside of that, the dynamics haven't changed. And we need to go more attacking-wise. So if we were I tell you what, guys, if it was 0-0 in the first leg, because now you guys are upset that I've not played Nico, if it were 0-0 in the first leg, then I'd be well up for starting Nico. Or if we won the first leg, I'd be well up for starting Nico. But the fact of the matter is that we're losing 3-0. Phil Foden. He's not getting in my team. Unfortunately. He's not in the starting 11, I'm afraid to say. So I can't start him in a game which, for us to have any chance in, we need to have everyone on it, basically. And even though that like a Foden who were in the starting 11, I would go for him, absolutely. But I can't baited you, yeah. I can't do that because he is but I can't do that because he is he's not in the starting 11 right now, unfortunately. Even though I don't think he's been anywhere near the level that people have been suggesting. And I do actually think there is a world where do you just start him? And I think that in an ideal world he would start. I don't think I can justify it, unfortunately. So I am going to start Nico O'Reilly instead in midfield. He didn't have a good game at the Bernabeu, but I think that I would rather predict. Sorry, I would rather play O'Reilly. I'd rather play him because he's been looking good in midfield as well. So I'm going to go for him. That's going to happen. That's going to be a thing. You'll notice that my team is it's quite basic, but, you know. If Shirky is playing, then Bernardo has to play by definition. But he's playing in the midfield 3. He's not doing this right wing bullshit. He's not doing this attacking midfield bullshit. He's playing in his best position, which is as a deeper midfielder. A connector. Someone to look out for and balance Shirky. That is my midfield 3. Well, that's my midfield 5, realistically. A phone and Shirky play together loads, Fireborn. Yeah. Easily. Basically, guys, what you'll notice is that the team so far is what I have been wanking over, re the Bournemouth and Liverpool performances. The only differences are I've got Aït-Nouri instead of O'Reilly, and I've got O'Reilly instead of Foden. Outside of that, my dynamics are the same. This is how we are going to build attacks. We're going to get players tight to one another centrally. We're going to bait them. We're going to play through them. And then we are going to exploit the space out wide. And from there, victory. That's what's going to happen in the world of Nobbins. Okay. You'll notice, however, that I've only left myself enough players to play a back two. This is a 2-3-5. Okay? This is a 2-3-5. This is not the game for Diaz to start, based on the setup that I want to play. Even though Diaz can do it, because of the threat of Vinicius Jr., and because we have obviously seen what happens when there is pace against him, like Gordon, for example, Kusanov is going to start. Kusanov is going in my team. That is happening. I think you do need Kusanov to play somewhere in this team, and it has to be at centre-back as well. Because... Oh, sorry, Loco Respect, if you weren't here really. If you rewind about 15 minutes, I popped what I... Well, if you rewind 30 minutes, I go through what my predictions were. We're now into what I want to happen. If we are in a situation where Real Madrid have 10 men back, including the goalkeeper, but they have Vinicius Jr. just chilling on the halfway line for counterattacks, then we need someone to be able to deal with that, obviously. And that's and there's no better centre back for that than Kusanov. So I'm gonna. That's what I'm. That's what I want. I think Kusanov has to play. A left centre back, and it's not going to be Ruben Diaz, unfortunately. You guys know I'm a big defender of Ruben Diaz, big fan of Ruben Diaz, and I am contradicting some of my own past statements here. But this is what I mean. I'm someone who takes it game by game, yeah? And even though I think that Diaz is still our best centre-back, if I'm going to play like this in a game where we have to attack, I don't think Diaz is the best option. By God, it's Gavardio's music! By God, he's come back from his layoff! No, obviously not. There's going to be Gahey in it. It's got to be Gahey. There's no other answer. I'm not going to predict Ake. I'm not going to predict Ake to start, obviously. I'm not going to predict Diaz to start. I'm not going to predict Stones to start at left centre-back either. It's probably got to be Gahey. But that's good, because Gahey is a wide centre-back and is very good at defending the wide channels. And Kusanov is a wide centre-back. And he's very good at defending the channels. So that's more so what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking less box defense for this game, and I'm thinking more rest defense, because if we have to rely on box defense when we were already 3-0 down, we're shafted anyway. Again, if we weren't losing 3-0, then I would start Diaz. But the fact is we aren't. So we have to think about our defending more as defending with the ball and stopping counterattacks rather than sustaining being defensively succinct and sustaining attacks is what I'm trying to say. Here's the thing. So I'm going to repeat. This is why I want these pacey centre-backs, because in an ideal world, we're going to have them like all the way. This would be like a final third setup. We're going to be so deep, yeah? We have like Doku and Nori rotating with one another as well. Yeah, that's going to happen. Now, we're probably going to have to... So let's like say that that's Vinicius, yeah? And let's say that the rest of the Madrid players are in like a sort of 4-4-1 block or something. So I don't know what it might be. Let's just like pop some Madrid players in. So that's a 4... Like, maybe like a 4-5. That sort of setup, yeah? They're going to be very deep. They're going to be defending their box. I'm going to force them to do this. Vinicius, however, is going to be here on the counter-attack, ready to make these perilous runs in behind. What I need in that instance, yeah? What I need in that instance is my centre-back to be able to match the speed of the attacker. What I need is a centre-back who I'm comfortable defending the wide areas with the rest defence. What I need is for my players to be ready for those counter-attacks. What I need is for my centre-backs to sweep up danger. What I need from my goalkeeper is to sweep up danger. And that is the team that I would like to see. 2-3-5. This is our best sweeping rest defense structure. This is the team which gets all of our best in-form attacking players all at once. This is a team that has solidity in midfield. Yeah? This is how you get a remontada. Yeah? This is how it happens. So that is my team. Because I tell you what I don't want. What I don't want playing tonight is a goalkeeper who has had more bozo errors against Real Madrid than starts against Real Madrid. It's not about pressing, Monts. It's about sweeping. It's about counter-attacking. So there we go. I would rather play the keeper who has no bozo errors against Real Madrid. Okay, granted, never played against them. Rather than 100%. 100% bozo errors. So that is what I would do. Personally. That makes a lot... Because here's the thing, guys. If you want to play a goalkeeper who is bad at sweeping, then Vinicius is going to fuck us if we want to play on the front foot. I need my goalkeeper to be locked and loaded and ready. And that's what Trafford is. Donnarumma has played Real Madrid 3 times. 3 times. And he has made 4 bozo errors. Why would I advocate for that on the pitch? For a goalkeeper who's made more bozo errors than games against a side. Why would I back that? Why would I want to predict that? Why would I choose that? This isn't about realism. This is totally what I would do. Irrelevant what, because I know it's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. Start him now. Get him prepared for Sunday. Yeah? Get him prepared for Sunday. Because realistically, we aren't coming back from this game anyway. Why not? And I tell you what, I'd run this exact team against... I'd run this exact same team on Sunday as well. So... You know what I mean? Sorry, Peter, I meant to the Champions League, but yeah, I don't remember that game, I'll be real. In the Champions League, he's met them 3 times, and he's made 4 errors. Horrendous from Benzema. Horrendous from the corner against Vinicius Jr. Should have done better with the Rodrigo effort as well. Should have done better with the Rodrigo cross in the game as well. Horrendous from the sweep. Horrendous with the decision-making for the first goal at 0-0. Horrendous giving away a penalty. More bozo errors than starts. So I don't want to run that, personally. So, you know, good point, Fenway. Can't have Gahey. Outside of that, though, you know, I just bring in Diaz then, I guess. But, you know, because you've got to do that. This is what I'm doing. And I don't care if you're upset. I don't care. I've made my feelings known. I've made my feelings known on the situation. If I were in charge, and this is the state of play, I wouldn't even... If I were in charge of the whole state of City, I wouldn't have Donnarumma at the club. I wouldn't have him at the club next season. So let's get him fast-tracked for next season. And that's if I were in charge. Guys, I'm not in charge. I don't know if you guys knew. I'm not in charge of the club. But if I were, get him out fast-track Trafford. Rather than just wasting a season of him. Because that's what we've done, basically. So... That's what I would do. That's what I would do. No, Pep won't do it, Fireborn. He won't do it. Of course he won't do it. But this is my team. And this is what I want. And yeah, hey, if it goes to penalties, as you say, do a Tim Krul. Bring him on. Bring on, even though Trafford's also got a very good penalty record, like for what was it, the England under 21 tournament where he like didn't concede a goal and saved loads of penalties. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, if it goes to a shootout, bring on Donnarumma. Why not? Why not? But this is my team. Yeah. I hate to say I told you so. That's a lie. I love to say I told you so, but I was right about Donnarumma. Let that be known. Beware the Ides of March. So there we go. It's not going to happen. I get that. But that's my team. That's my team. Yeah? You can't take that away from me. That's my team. Ah! Oh dear, Slime. Chill. Yes, I was. Chill. Who would be the 5 penalty takers? Haaland. Semenyo's decent at penalties, isn't he? So Semenyo. You'd bring on Marmoush at that time, because I know Marmoush missed one in the final, but he's normally good at penalties. I reckon, even though like Shirky's barely taken them, I reckon he would be good at penalties. Nunes, obviously. And those are the obvious takers, aren't they? Those are the obvious ones. Foden has scored one against Madrid. I guess you could maybe bring him on if you need to, but that's probably not a good idea to do. I'm just looking at the rest of the bench. I don't know if Reinders is good at penalties or not. I don't know. Ake, Kova, Savio, no. I feel like Kusanov would be sick at penalties. I don't know why. Something in my head tells me he would be sick at penalties. I don't think he's ever taken one. I've got nothing to base that off except vibes. But I just reckon Kusanov would be really brutally good at them. I don't know, man. So there we go. Yeah, exactly. Edison for a loan, yeah? My team. And the good news is that we're not going to see that team, so I can be a coward, and I can go, oh, you see, if we played my team, we would have won. I'm not going to do that, obviously, because I'm not that much of a wanker. I'm a wanker, but not that much of a wanker. Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's not going to be any, there's no in between. He's either going to be properly class at them or dog shit. What's my official prediction? My official score prediction hasn't changed. Actually, it hasn't changed. My official score prediction is 3-1 to City. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going for. But guys, what's your score prediction? Yeah? What's your score prediction? Let me know. 5-1. 2-all. Bring Ruben on the last 10 minutes. 1-0. 3-1 is brutal, I know. 2-all. 4-0. Yes, Ash. I love that. Fireball, yes. Oh, Fireball, you're also going to penalties then. Yeah, and if you're saying penalties, you got to say whether we win or lose on penalties. 3-0 lose on pens. 4-0. Yes, Mario. Yes. 6-3 win on pens. Yes. 5-1. 1-all. 2-0. 2-1. It's going to be a Real Madrid also 1-0. Unfortunately, they go through by 1 goal. 4-0, Naveen. Yes. Yes. Gonna do an... Oh, 4-1 to Madrid. Jesus. Oh, God. Got to do an Exeter 10-1. 6-1. Amazing. You know, stranger things have happened, guys. I don't think it will happen. I don't think it will happen. And if we're being brutally honest with ourselves, we don't deserve it to happen either, based on how we have been playing of late. But the Champions League isn't about what you deserve, it's about what you get. And I mean, who knows, man? With a striker in Haaland who hasn't really been scoring much that of late, but generally speaking, he can be the guy in the moments. With an amazing big Champions League Knights goalkeeper in Donnarumma, who's definitely never been the deciding factor in his team going out every single time in Europe. Maybe we can keep them out. And if you do have Shirky and Doku on the pitch, then I think that magic can be made and that can happen. But we need a big game from everyone. In all seriousness, we need a big game from everyone, regardless of whether we go through or not. I do care about the result. I'm more looking to the performance, though, in all honesty. I could accept not going through, but just like giving me a great performance. Exactly, Fenway. Yeah, you've just said it there. Give me a performance that builds up a little more hope heading into the weekend. Yeah, exactly. I've sort of accepted that we're not going to go through, but just give me something to hold on to. Give me a light. Give me something where I can say, okay, I can see glimpses of what we're going to be seeing later in the season or next season. You know what I mean? Give me something. That's what I need. Shining light. Give me some hope. Give me some faith. Yeah? Make hope normal again. And give me some. I am a sarcastic boy. Yes, indeed. I am. I hadn't actually watched the Europa League knockout games for Milan. Those were interesting. If you guys want to do some research, you're more than welcome to. Those were interesting. Haaland hat-trick. Foden clutch free kick at 90 plus 10. There we go. I'm delusional. Yeah, exactly. Ban Adebayo. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, hello, G3. L says TD. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it will be. But you never know. You never know, do you? Guys, we've been live for 90 minutes. That's around how long we keep these for. Get your final comments and thoughts in. We will be live tonight. I don't know what time we're going to be starting. Earliest 7. I'll see how cheeky I'm feeling. Excuse me. I'll see how cheeky I'm feeling. We'll see. We'll see. I just want to see a positive lineup, a positive performance, make us proud, and yeah, we win 7-0. Amazing. Oh, yes. Put Pep on the pitch. I reckon he can do a job, to be fair. He can do a job. Honestly. Two realistic transfers of Bernardo and Rodrigo. Well, looks like we're going to get Anderson. Outside of that, I don't know, though. I don't know. At that point, we probably just convert Nico to full-on Rodri, don't we? Probably. This is what I think. This is what I think, to be honest. I do actually think we'll win. I do genuinely think we will win. There is hope that this particular Madrid team has been kind of weak mentally compared to the Kroos Modric days. Yes, that is a hope. If you score in like the first 20 minutes, even 1-0 at half time is not a bad result. That's not bad. And if you can get it to 2-0 with like 10-15 minutes left. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yes. I think on that note, guys, I'm going to shoot off because we have been live for over 90 minutes, which is around how long I like to keep these. Got a fair few people watching today, which is very lovely. Please leave a like on the video as you are going out. It's free and it helps support the channel. If you've joined late, if you want to go back and see what I think Pep will do, if you want to go back and see what I would personally do, then feel free to go and rewind. What happens if we do win 4-0? If we can win 4-0, then that means that we can come back in the Premier League as well. Why not? Why the hell not? At that point, if that happens, I'll have all the faith. Why wouldn't I? If we win 4-0, I'll say, yeah, if we can come back and win the title. Why not? Why not? Let's all perform whatever ritual sacrifices are necessary before the watch-along. Oh. Yeah, we probably go through and then... Well, we do go through and then Bayern probably knock us out. Because they're even better than Madrid. Oh. Manifesting, guys. Manifesting. Manifesting a victory. It's going to happen. Decided. Decided. I can't promise that we'll go through, but I can promise we'll win tonight. I can guarantee you that. I've decided. I'm deluded. But the rubbing of the temple area, this is where all the good magic juice comes from. So It's going to happen. I've decided remontada, baby. This cheesecake. Big up to all of my beautiful supporters on Patreon and the YouTube membership. You can click that link. You can click the join button to support my work. The link is there. It's £2.99 a month at the lowest tier. Thank you so much if you do consider becoming a member. We have over 100 so far. Let's see if we can get to 150 at some point. Why not? That's the next target. We'll go over 100. Can we get to 150? That would be very, very lovely. We're all remontada profile pictures as Fireborn. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Big up to everyone. Thank you for watching. I'll be back later for the watch along. Until then, have a lovely rest of your evening, and I'll catch you all tonight against Real Madrid. Goodbye.